You spent a month perfecting your website, another 2 weeks trying to nail your logo, and you've been posting on social media like it's your full-time job. And what do you have to show for it? An inbox so quiet you can literally hear the crickets, and you have this dooming thought that maybe this dream of starting a virtual assistant business is a scam. You're just making one fatal assumption that you're just waiting to be discovered. You've built a beautiful storefront on an empty street. The successful virtual assistants, they aren't waiting for the foot traffic to come through their door. They're hunting for clients. Today, we're breaking down the 5 mistakes that are keeping you clientless. And trust me, you'll want to hear number 5. It's the reason that 90% of virtual assistants quit before they even get paid. The single biggest mistake new virtual assistants make is playing what I like to call the waiting game. This is the I built it and they will come fantasy. And that's unfortunately not how it works. If it were that way, everybody would do it. You spent weeks, maybe months, tweaking your website, designing a logo and curating your Instagram feed, and then you post. You use all of the right hashtags, and then you wait. You're essentially just arranging a pretty shop window, hoping people will walk by, come in, and buy from you. Redoing your portfolio for the 10th time feels like work, but let's be real, those are vanity tasks, and vanity tasks do not start conversation. Virtual assistants fall into this trap because active outreach feels terrifying, and don't get me wrong, cold pitching is not the way that we're going to approach things. However, there is definitely a way for it to not feel like a cold pitch. It's way more comfortable to hide behind a screen and make things look pretty, but business without conversations is just an expensive hobby. The virtual assistants that you look up to, the ones that are completely booked, they didn't get booked from a magical wave of referrals. They got those referrals after the initial grind phase of putting themselves out there over and over again, which is exactly what I did in the beginning of my journey. Your number one job right now isn't being a virtual assistant. It's being a spokesperson for your virtual assistant business. This means you actually have to go where your clients are hanging out and actually talk to them. It means joining a Facebook group where your ideal client is hanging out and genuinely answering questions, providing value. It means going to networking events in their industry. Maybe it's an in-person event, but it can absolutely be virtual as well. Your business will not grow in silence. It grows one conversation at a time. The second biggest mistake is trying to be a Swiss Army knife. You're trying to appeal to everybody because you have a scarcity mindset. You think getting specific means turning down money. Exact opposite is true. When you're for everybody, you're for no one. If you think about it, the market is flooded with general virtual assistants. If somebody is looking for a general admin support and they see hundreds of virtual assistants, who do you think that they're going to choose? They're going to choose the cheapest option. And that's a race to the bottom, and you are going to lose. The fear of specializing is absolutely real, and I get it. If I focus just on podcasters, then I'm missing out on business coaches and course creators. But here's the mindset shift. Being a specialist makes you an expert. Experts attract clients that are looking for real solutions, not just a cheap pair of hands. And remember, being a specialist isn't necessarily just a specific type of person. It could also be a specific type of service that you offer. The goal here is you need to get specific. And you don't need to figure it out all on day one. Just pay attention. Maybe you'll start with general admin, but then you realize you actually really love working for e-commerce brands with Shopify stores. Great. Now you have a direction. You can start tailoring your business to start speaking their language. You manage Shopify stores. You handle customer service for product launches. You write product descriptions. This lets you change your message from I help with admin to I help e-commerce brands claim back 10 hours per week by streamlining their customer service and inventory. When you define the problem that you solve, you stop becoming a forgettable generalist and become the only logical choice. This mistake is tied to the last one. It's your failure to define your one perfect client. When I ask struggling virtual assistants who their ideal client is, they say something like struggling business owner. That's not a target, that's a giant vague category. It's like saying, I want to date a human. If you don't know exactly who it is that you're talking to, you can't know where to find them, what they actually struggle with, or what words are going to get their attention. Your message isn't landing because you never aimed it at anyone in the first place. This is a research problem. You haven't put in the time and effort to understand the specific person's business, their daily frustrations, their big goals, what actually keeps them up at night. For example, once you figure out that a podcaster's biggest pain is audio editing copywriting, and writing show notes, you can create marketing that feels like you are reading their mind. The solution here is to create a profile of your ideal client. Get freakishly specific. What industry are they in? What's their actual job title? Where do they hang out online? Which specific Facebook groups? Which LinkedIn communities? What podcasts do podcasters listen to? Once you know this, literally everything is going to change. Every time you write a social media post, every time you write copy for your website, you write directly to that one person. And when that client stumbles upon your Instagram, your website, they're going to read your content and be like, wow, this person is reading my mind. And at that point, you've basically already won. That's when they stop scrolling and start clicking the contact button. If this section feels a little too real, I have two things for you. First, go figure out what your ideal client avatar is. I've gone ahead and linked a video here. This will walk you through exactly how to identify who your ideal client is, as well as how to specialize your services. Go watch this. I created a client acquisition checklist for you. This breaks down the daily, weekly, and monthly action items to go from passively waiting to actively signing. This is 100% free, and the link is in the description. Go download it and start taking action today. This next mistake is internal, and it shows up in everything that you do and will sabotage your success. You do not act with authority. This looks like a couple things. Your pricing is all over the place, your pitches sound like you're apologizing, and you just don't project the confidence. That energy of uncertainty kills the client's trust before they've even tried to reach out. When a potential client asks, how much do you charge? Do you say something like, well, my hourly rate is 20, but I'm flexible? You've just signaled that you don't even think that you are worth your hourly rate. Undercharging is an epidemic within virtual assistants, and unfortunately, it attracts the worst clients who will micromanage, undervalue your time, and honestly make you hate your decision in becoming a virtual assistant. This also shows up in your process or lack thereof. You don't have a confident 30-second pin for when somebody asks you, what do you do? You're probably not using a professional client management system, which manage contracts, proposals, invoices all in one place, making you look professional and confident. You're also terrified of coming across as pushy, and that can often make you look timid. And clients want to hire a confident expert, not somebody that they need to hold their hand. Fixing this is a two-step process. First, the mindset. You have to stop thinking like an employee and start acting like a business owner who provides solutions. You are an investment, not an expense. Set the rate that reflects the value that you create, not just the hours that you sit in a chair, and say it with your chest and do not apologize for it. Second is systems that scream, I am a professional. Have a contract ready. Use a system that's able to send professional looking proposals seamlessly. These tools just don't make you look good, they also set boundaries and show that you are a serious business operator. Build authority by actively showing up in Facebook groups, LinkedIn communities, and provide real value. You know so much more than you think you do. Show what you can do before you even make the sale. Confidence is a magnet for high-paying clients. And now for the final mistake, which is the most dangerous of all of them. You quit too soon. Getting those first few clients is going to be a marathon, not a sprint. And most virtual assistants think that it's going to happen within the first week. They send out 5 pitches, they get 2 no's, and the other 3 ghost them. And then immediately the self-doubt creeps in and you start asking yourself, what is wrong with me? Why can't I get a client? Why are other virtual assistants getting clients and I'm not? And then they quit just before the momentum was about to build. The only secret sauce is persistence and consistency. Success doesn't come from one heroic motivated weekend. It comes from a compounding effect of small, boring actions that happen over time. Daily connections, weekly follow-ups, the consistent learning. That's what builds a business. Most successful entrepreneurs play a game of collecting 100 no's. Yes, 100 no's. Because every single rejection is just data. It's proof that you're actually in the game. The virtual assistants that actually succeed aren't the ones that never fail. They're the ones that just keep going. Hello, hi, one of them. It took me 6 months to get my first client from when I learned what a virtual assistant was. And just 8 months later, I was able to quit my job. So stop focusing on, I didn't get a client, and start focusing on, I started 5 conversations today. And celebrate that effort, because that is the only thing you can actually control. And remember, the referral engine that everybody dreams of only comes comes after those first few clients. And those first few clients are going to come from actually putting in the work. That initial grind is non-negotiable. Every no gets you one step closer to the yes that is going to change everything. So there you have it, the 5 invisible mistakes that are keeping you stuck. You're waiting to be discovered. You're trying to be for everyone. You're marketing to no one. You're acting like an employee instead of an expert. And you're giving up right before things are about to take off. Your success is not just going to happen to you. You have to go out there and build it. One conversation, one day at a time. Which of these mistakes hit you the hardest? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to download that free client acquisition checklist that is in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell for getting notified when I post my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. And it is now time for you to go take action. Go, like right now.